Introduction. Why are we here? Friends, as you walked into this room tonight, I know each of you carried an invisible to-do list in your pocket. On that list are debts to be paid, grumpy bosses to be persuaded, kids' school expenses, or notes about a spouse you're struggling to get along with. You are all looking for a miracle. But let me let you in on a secret. I am merely an observer who has gathered the keys to unlock the rusty locks of human nature that haven't changed in thousands of years. In a study conducted by the University of Chicago, adults were asked what they wanted to learn most. Do you know what was number one? Health. But right behind it, in second place, was how to get along with, influence, and persuade people. Tonight, we are going to dive into that second item, the world's most profitable investment, human engineering. Chapter 1. The Poison of Criticism and the Power of Understanding. Years ago, I had a meeting with Warden Laws, the warden of Sing Sing prison. He told me, "Dale, almost none of the criminals here see themselves as bad people. They think they're just regular folks, like you and me. They can explain exactly why they robbed a safe or pulled a trigger. Most of them blame society for doing them wrong." Friends, if even hardened killers don't blame themselves, why would the ordinary people who annoy you every day blame themselves? The strawberry on the fishhook. I love strawberries and cream. But when I go fishing, I don't put strawberries and cream on the hook. Why? Because fish prefer worms. In our relationships, we're always baiting the hook with this strawberries we like. We criticize. We tell people what they should do. But if we want to win them over, we must focus on what they like, the worms. Criticism is like a homing pigeon. It always returns to its coop. When you criticize someone, they go on the defensive and harbor resentment. Look at history. Abraham Lincoln, who harshly criticized others in his youth, vowed never to insult anyone again after nearly ending up in a duel. During the darkest days of the Civil War, even when his generals made massive blunders, he wrote stinging letters but never mailed them. He knew that a harsh critique doesn't fix a mistake. It only creates an enemy. The practice. Tomorrow morning, when you go to work or head home, forget that sharp criticism at the tip of your tongue. Instead, imagine why that person might have acted that way. To know all is to forgive all. Chapter 2. The deepest hunger of the human soul. To feel important. There is only one way in the world to get anyone to do anything. Just one. Making them want to do it. And what does a human being want most? The famous psychologist William James said, "The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated." Notice he didn't say desire or wish, he said craving. It is as real as physical hunger. The secret of Charles Schwab. Andrew Carnegie paid Charles Schwab a salary of $1 million a year. In the 1920s, that was an astronomical sum. Was Schwab a metallurgical genius? No. By his own admission, he knew far less about steel than many of the men working for him. So why was he so valuable? Schwab told me, "My greatest asset is my ability to arouse enthusiasm among men. The way to develop the best that is in a person is by appreciation and encouragement. There is nothing that kills the ambitions of a person like criticism from superiors." Friends, most of us do the exact opposite. When we see a mistake, we attack. When we see good work, we stay silent. That's like leaving a machine ungreased and then hitting it because it squeaks. Flattery versus appreciation. There is a very fine line here. Many people asked me, "Dale, are you saying we should just lie and praise people constantly?" No. Flattery is shallow, selfish, and fake. Appreciation comes from the heart. Flattery is telling lies. Appreciation is telling truths. One day, I was waiting in line at the post office. The clerk looked exhausted and bored. I asked myself, how can I make this man like me? I looked for something about him I could honestly admire, and I found it. As he weighed my stamps, I said, "I sure wish I had a head of hair like yours." The man looked up in surprise, his face beaming. He thanked me modestly, and we chatted for minutes. Can you imagine how happy he was when he went home that day? What did it cost me? Nothing. but it gave him a spark of joy and self-respect. Chapter 3: 6 Ways to Make People Like You. Friends, let me share the greatest social hack I've ever learned. It explains why a dog is the only animal that doesn't have to work for a living. A chicken gives eggs, a cow gives milk, a canary sings. But a dog? A dog only gives you love. When you come home, he wags his tail and jumps on you as if you're the most important person in the world. Rule 1: Become genuinely interested in other people. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in others than you can in 2 years by trying to get others interested in you. Rule 2: Smile. Actions speak louder than words. A smile says, "I like you, you make me happy, I am glad to see you." Rule 3: The power of names. Remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Rule 4: Be a good listener. Most people are so busy thinking about how to impress the other person that they forget to listen. Ask people for their life stories and just listen. They will tell everyone you are the most interesting person they've ever met. Rule 5: Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Rule 6: Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. Chapter 4: 12 Ways to Win People to Your Way of Thinking. Let's talk about persuasion. Say you have an idea and you want your boss or client to believe in it. What do? Argue? How to win an argument. The first rule: avoid the argument. If you win an argument, you actually lose. Even if you defeat the other person's logic, you haven't won their heart. People don't make decisions based on logic. They decide based on emotion. I once met a car salesman who was always arguing with customers. He'd say, "When a customer says this car is no good, I put them in their place." He certainly put them in their place, but he never sold a single car. I taught him this. When a customer says, "This car is bad, I like brand X," just say, "You're right, brand X is great." Once you agree with the competitor, there's nothing left to argue about. Then you can start talking about the benefits of your own car. "I might be wrong." The most magical sentence in the world is, "I may be wrong. I frequently am. Let's examine the facts." No one can argue with someone who says, "I might be wrong." It ends all conflict before it starts. Chapter 5: Stop Worrying and Start Living. Now, let's talk about the monster that keeps you up at night: worry. Worrying is trying to pay tomorrow's bills with today's energy. And you can never pay that bill. You only go bankrupt. Willis Carrier's formula. Willis Carrier, the inventor of air conditioning, told me a formula he used as a young man. He was facing a potential failure on a massive project and couldn't sleep. He took these 3 steps. Analyze the worst-case scenario. What's the worst that can happen? The company loses money, my reputation takes a hit, I lose my job. Accept the worst-case scenario. Okay, if I lose my job, I won't starve. I'll find another one. The world won't end. The moment he accepted it, the tension vanished. Improve on the worst. Once calm, he asked, "How can I minimize this loss?" In the end, he saved the project. Live in day-tight compartments. Friends, don't squeeze your life between the regrets of yesterday and the fears of tomorrow. Ships have watertight compartments. When there's an accident, those doors close to save the rest of the ship. Live your life in day-tight compartments. When you go to bed, close the door on that day. Tomorrow hasn't been born yet. Chapter 6: How to Be a Leader, Changing People Without Giving Offense. You might be a manager, a parent, or a teacher. You have to correct people's mistakes. But how? Begin with praise. A barber lathers a man's face before shaving him. Why? Because softened whiskers are easier to cut. Call attention to mistakes indirectly. Don't say, "You're doing great, but you got this part wrong." The word "but" erases everything good you just said. Use "and" instead. I love this report, and if we add these sections, it will be perfect. Talk about your own mistakes first. I used to make these same mistakes when I was your age. Lowers the other person's defenses. Ask questions instead of giving orders. Instead of, "Do this," ask, "Could we do it this way?" Or, how do you think we should solve this? People are more loyal to decisions they helped make. Conclusion: on the threshold of a new life. Friends, everything we've talked about sounds simple on paper. The hard part is putting it into practice. Human relations are like playing the piano. If you don't practice every day, your fingers get stiff. As you leave here tonight, make a promise to yourself. Look at the taxi driver, the waiter at breakfast, or that difficult person at the office with new eyes. Remember that they, too, are hungry to feel important. My final word to you is this: don't treat people the way you want them to treat you. Treat them the way they want to see themselves. You might not change the whole world, but you can change someone's day. And changing someone's day is the first step to changing the world. Good luck.